you can ask any questions afterwards, and then I'll go into talking about whatever else if you don't have any. Yeah. All right.
I like that logo for the start. Just something about that was just nice from the start. It was very clean. Well, this music definitely gives me that vibe. Ooh. Wow.
Yep. So that was the first trailer for the game. I figured that'd be the best way to start off talking about it.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's really the big major thing we've showcased so far is just that beginning initial stuff. So, any questions you have about what you just saw?
How did she go about landing big names like that? That's a big deal, man.
That is a good first question. All right, so it all starts. This game has been something I have conceptually thought about. Like I've always been interested in game development, but I never thought like I didn't have enough talent to do that. Like that's what I always thought. Like I didn't think there. Well, I always thought there are so many different parts to a game. I don't know who could help me execute this vision the way I would like it to be executed. Right. I wouldn't be able to do it because I just don't think I have that kind of talent to do it. So I've been thinking about this kind of game for about 2 years now, but only started really working on it at the beginning of last year. So at the beginning, it was a lot of concepts, and it was even at the very beginning, it was even a visual novel game.
Oh, wow, really?
And I made it in RenPy, which is this visual novel engine for anybody that doesn't know. Yeah, it was very different from what it is now. And eventually I thought more about it, and I was like, I could tell a very interesting story in an RPG. And I don't know if many other games have done that. The only games that I can think of that have done it in a similar way have been the Mother series and probably Undertale and Deltarune so far, because they take a very specific they specifically elevate the player's interaction in the experience in a different way than most other games. A lot of games, like I talked a little bit about this during the Deltarune segment, because this has been always something that has interested me about Deltarune and Undertale, because there just aren't many games that do it from what I've seen in storytelling. It's that a lot of games tend to place you in a role, and this doesn't just go for role-playing games, this is most games. A lot of games tend to place you in a role, and the role is what is the main focus of the game. Like if you play as Mario in Super Mario, you're always going to be you aren't you are Mario when you play that game, essentially.
Right.
So you're never going to be called out, you're never going to be referenced as a player directly. It's always going to be, oh, thank you, Mario, not thank you, whoever is playing.
Right.
Yeah. So in those games I was just talking about, Undertale and the Mother series, Deltarune, those games specifically refer to the player in a lot of different points, and I've actually been doing like research on this, and Doki Doki Literature Club is actually another one that's included in that research I was doing. I'll probably have a paper published about that sometime soon, but not yet. It's still working on it. But yeah, this game is the result of a lot of that research and thinking about how stories can be told in that way. And when I was thinking about how to construct this project, I was like, who could help me with all these different parts of it? I met my artist first, who is very close friend of mine. She's my girlfriend now, and she's been a huge part, and she's played such a huge part in making this game become a reality. Because all of the, I guess before I lead into your main question of how I got the big names, I'll talk about how the other stuff came to be.
Yeah.
The watercolors in the background, all of those different, all of that very non-pixel kind of things. See, the game kind of blends that pixel aesthetic with that watercolor traditional art kind of feel, that kind of aesthetic. That's right. And though all of that watercolor art in the game is done traditionally, like I said, it's scanned in and stitched together in the environment. So it takes a lot of work to make that kind of stuff. And she's always thought of a game that could do something like that. So she had that kind of vision that I was thinking about, and I was so surprised. We think of so much stuff in common too. We always seem to have ideas that we both are wholeheartedly agree on. So it's made a lot of that development really fun and really easy. But thinking about the bigger names now after that, so on Mother Forever, which is another site I help with, we did an interview with Shane Mesa. Actually, even before that, I was already talking to Tomoya Tomita because I reached. So his Facebook profile was on Facebook, and
Right.
he linked it. He linked it in a lot of different places for how to reach him, and I was curious because I thought about it, and I was like, he has made a lot of the most a lot of the music that I really have enjoyed in the past. The past generation of games really has been from him, and a lot of those Wii games that he worked on, and Wii U with Yoshi's Woolly World.
Right.
And I reached out on a whim because this game was starting to come to fruition with people on the team at near the middle of last year. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'd love to work on a new game," because I haven't talked to him very much about if he has any other projects going on, but from the way he's talked about it, doesn't seem like he has any other projects. So I reached out, and he was more than willing to help with it. And
Wow.
I was really surprised at that. And thankfully, my knowledge of Japanese helped me actually reach out to him to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. That's incredible.
That was a nice way that my other talents kind of fit into getting people on the team. But besides that, later on, I met Shane Mesa through an interview with Mother Forever, and I was already talking to Tomoya Tomita, like I said, and I reached out to Shane and said, I really, I said, I don't know if I think I did tell him this at some point, but I'm a huge fan of Shane's music for Oddity, and I really, really loved how he kind of used the Earthbound Mother kind of sound font to create new music. And I thought about how that could fit into this game, because this game is a blend of traditional art and pixel art, which is kind of traditional and new. So I reached out to him.
Can you play
and
the trailer again in the background, by the way, while we go through it? Because it's been a little while, and I think that would also help too.
Sure.
Definitely keep going on it, though. Just wanted to get that playing again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll just loop it. So, sorry, I've been talking for a while.
No, it's okay.
I'm very passionate about it. So,
no, that's exactly why I want you to talk about it.
I didn't even fully answer your question yet, but I'm about to. So I reached out to Shane and said I was a big fan of his music. I will play one of the tracks we haven't shown yet from him also later on, because it's that was the first. I'll play the first track that he ever sent to me, and I was like, yes, this is exactly the sound I am looking for this game. He has always hit the nail on the head for almost every track I have wanted in this game, and it's pretty amazing. He has managed to blend the old and new kind of sounds. That's kind of older SNES kind of sound with a newer kind of sound that this game is going to have by itself. So he's created this very individual kind of thing for it. And Mr. Tomita, while he won't be doing any songs for the demo, he will be doing songs for the main game, and he'll be doing the sound effects for both the demo and the full game. So yeah.
Wow.
More to come from Mr. Tomita, but he will be his music will be in the full game.
That's honestly still really incredible.
Yeah, so I went through a lot there, and I might have answered any other questions you might have had, but do you have any others?
That definitely did go through a bunch, which was very helpful too. I guess I do want to ask, because it's not that it isn't obvious from the trailer. I guess I'm curious on how you would describe it. So how would you describe the full gameplay of the game?
Right. So I have some other videos to show off and demonstrate that. So,
perfect.
There are 2 different segments, as you can see here. None of the footage you see is final, obviously. There are still things we need to work on with getting the environment to look how we want it to, clean it up more. But this is what we've been working on so far, getting things into the environment with depth and everything. So as you can see, we have this watercolor art here, and this is we have added different layers to it, so you can go behind things and interact with things in the environment. As you can see here, our friend is interacting with
with algae,
another green ball of something there. Yeah, so the outside of battle, the gameplay is very simply this kind of traditional kind of RPG, interacting with things in the environment, and learning more about them. And we plan to have some puzzles in the environment too. We plan to have some more big kind of exploratory environments instead of just a lot of straight lines like some RPGs tend to do. We want it to be a little more open for paths between different places.
Yeah.
But you will be finding things like towns and maybe even big cities. You might find new friends, new foes. There are a lot of things to explore. So this is really about a lot of exploration and meeting people and interacting with them. Well, maybe not all of them are people. Some of them might look a little odd, but I hope you'll love them anyway.
Well, the algae describes itself, so.
Exactly. And I'll go into something more that I didn't talk about yet later, but as you might have seen from this gameplay here, when your friend talks to that ball of green stuff, your friend talks directly to you. So you can see your friend looking at the green stuff there. Well, first saying to you, "What is this? What is this ball of green stuff?" And then looking down at it, seeing, looking down at it in the character portrait, and then looking back at you, surprised. Yeah. So it's kind of an example of how dialogue is going to work. But so in the battle sequences, when you find foes around the environment, like other RPGs, you will go into a battle scene.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an example of how a battle scene will work. The enemy right now doesn't have any kind of patterns because we're still working on that. But as you can see here, you can move around the environment after selecting something. This kind of mechanic hasn't really been done so much in a lot of other RPGs, but if I had to compare it to anything, it has a lot of similarities to how Undertale allows you to move around the environment, or how Mario and Luigi allow you to react to different things that you come into contact with.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting that from what I'm seeing here, which is pretty interesting.
Right. So things that you'll find from enemies will be magic that will be thrown at you from the other side of the field or from other parts of the environment. And some will be able to be deflected with your attacks. Some you might have to use different kinds of skills for. As you can see at the beginning, I go through these different kinds of skills. You can use hit, which is your kind of neutral option for using your whatever weapon you have equipped. Special, which will either modify what attack you have or allow you to use magic like the opponent does. So you and the opponent will be on level ground with what kinds of magic you can use. It's just a matter of you trying to learn that throughout the game. So you will not, as of right now, I don't think there will be any magic that you will not have access to that the enemy does have. So you will be able to learn the spells that you find from enemies. But special can also imbue your weapons with magic characteristics and allow you to do more with that hit attack, and enemies will have different weaknesses to that magic like other RPGs. Use is very simply items and things like that. Defend it allows you to defend allows you to still move around the environments, but you will take less damage for it, and you will be able to gain a stat boost for your next turn. So it kind of incentivizes you to defend instead of going full into attacking on your first turn, in my opinion. But you can use it however you see fit, really. Run. Obvious. You can run from that. And talk is a very simple action you can do to enemies to learn more about them and try and end the battle in a way that isn't so violent. Or after you solve it, you will be able to get items from that opponent. Instead of gaining XP, you will gain other things you can use on your quest. So it kind of incentivizes you to use talking that way. But yeah, those are all the different actions you have in battle. And after you select one, you can see that meter in the top left corner there is counting down. That's a mechanic that you can actually improve throughout the game as you level up, and allows you a specific amount of time to do your actions. So when you actually select whatever option you have that allotted amount of time to actually go over, attack the opponents, and then the battle or the turn will reset and you can select your next action.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how battle will function, and it's kind of I wanted to make sure I had this footage ready because it's a lot to explain, but it's much easier to see play out.
Yeah, it's definitely something that seems you definitely need that visual to be able to explain it. I definitely get what you're saying, and having the visual definitely helps. I'm definitely curious to see how it develops and evolves as there's more to it.
Yes, there will be a lot of different plans to use the environment, as you might imagine, to do some fun things with battles and have some fun attacks from the enemies too. So I hope you'll look forward to that. Right now, this environment is very flat, but you might find things that enemies could put on the environment to block your way, or things that you might have to use certain magic on, things like that. So I hope you'll look forward to it. But aside from that, let me go play one of Shane's tracks here. So
Stuffton.
This is Stuffton, which is one of the towns you'll find in the
maybe set it too loud. Maybe set it the half. It's not playing. You gotta set the half volume, and then we'll see from there. is really nice, honestly. It's catchy.
Yeah,
I'm liking it.
I really enjoy it.
And you recently had this shown off in the, what was it? It was like the Mother Direct recently, where there's a bunch of fan games of the Mother series, right?
Right. Yes. So I helped with the production of that whole Mother Direct as a member of Mother Forever, but since I was already planning to release a lot of promotional things about this game around the time we were planning to release the Mother Direct, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Do you mind if I put my trailer in here too? And we have obviously a lot of other Mother-inspired indie games in there too, so it's just another addition. And we had a lot of other really great indie games in there, so please check that out if you have the chance to. I'm sure they'll appreciate your support.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was a track from Shane Mesa, like I said before, Stuffton, and that's one of the first towns he'll be in. And after I heard that, that was when I knew. That's when I knew Shane has to be on this project. And it was
there you go.
Really great. It's been really great to work with him and Mr. Tomita too. Yeah, and they'll probably be working together for some tracks too. Yeah,
that is honestly really incredible.
Yeah,
uniting different parts of the game industry right then and there.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting to see what they'll come up with. I'm really excited to see it and hear it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So just to finish this off, I just have a couple pictures from the trailer announcements that didn't get to be shown off anywhere else. Here is just one environment that has a big sunset in the background. I thought this is definitely one of my favorites so far. I really love how the pink matches with all the different colors on the screen. So
it really does all come together really nicely visually. It is really nice, the visual style.
Yeah, I hope people will enjoy it. Oh, hi, Spazzy.
Oh, Spazzy's in here now. Is he?
Yeah.
I have it in streamer mode, so I didn't get notified at all of that.
Oh, I guess he muted himself.
Oh, yep, there he is.
All right. Yeah. Oh, okay. He's gone. Anyways, so so this picture is that environment, just to show off a little more of that, since that trailer was pretty quick, showing a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. And so that was one, and this is that other environment near the beginning, very beginning of the game. This is an instance of your friend talking directly to you.
Okay.
This is one of the first moments where your friend kind of senses your presence after you press a button. And they're like, what? What was that? So it's it'll be interesting to see what kinds of interactions will come out of that, I think.
I hope
people will like that too.
I really do look forward to it. I think it'll be really interesting to see it come together with that kind of, I guess, purposeful fourth wall breaking is the best way to put it.
Right, yeah. It's something that I don't know has been done, like I said, so I hope I can bring something new to the way stories are told in gaming with this kind of style to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So where can people go to find out more info about this as you put it out? Is there a specific place you want them going to for that?
Sure. Yeah, so GNOMONIC is developed by NOKOGODO, which is our team. And NOKOGODO can be found on Twitter and Instagram just at NOKOGODO, NOKOGODO. Pretty easy. So just search for us on there and you can follow us and follow any updates we have later on. We're planning to hopefully have the demo out by August and hopefully the Kickstarter by September. So we'll see how that all goes with planning, but that's the track we're on for now, and I hope you'll follow us for that journey.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to get Twitter to load on my phone right now, just so I can hit the follow button. There we go.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that'll close out that section. We got one more. Let me